Of course. I mean, it's impossible to deny at this point. They spent weeks and weeks reporting very, very minimal casualty numbers. I think the latest announcement they made was 1,300 Russian troops have been killed in action. The real number is much, much greater than that, and we all know that. So it was definitely interesting to see. I wouldn't call it honesty yet because, they haven't touched on specific figures. They haven't been reporting that to the Russian people at all. But just that acknowledgement of, framing it as a huge tragedy and saying there is significant loss is definitely notable. But at the same time, I also feel like it could be part of another strategy on their part. What that strategy is, I don't know, but obviously Putin and his cronies and delegation have no problem lying on the world stage. So I guess we'll see.
One of the other big developments in the course of the week has been happening in this evening, Friday, the visit to Kyiv by the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and the EU's top diplomat, Josep Borrell. They've been talking to the Ukrainian president, a big show of solidarity with their visit, and they've been reassuring their hosts about eventual membership of the European Union. I gather we can listen to a clip of Ursula von der Leyen speaking there in Kiev earlier on.
We are with you as you dream of Europe. Dear Volodymyr, my message today is very clear. Ukraine belongs to the European family. We've heard your request loud and clear. And today we're here to give you a first positive answer. In this envelope, dear Volodymyr, there is an important step towards EU membership.
Ursula von der Leyen speaking in Kiev a little earlier on Friday. Well, let's bring in our Brussels correspondent, Dave Keating, who joins us now as well. Dave, just tell us what the significance of this visit to Kyiv is, in your opinion, and what those two leaders set out to achieve by making that visit by train to Kyiv this Friday.
Well, it's quite symbolically significant because, of course, the two leaders are putting themselves at risk by traveling to Kyiv. It's nowhere near the amount of risk that there was, say, a month ago because, of course, Russia has retreated away and is now focusing on the east. But, of course, Ukraine is still a country at war, and traveling across that country by train involves a certain element of risk. So it is definitely a high-profile show of support. And also, Ursula von der Leyen can speak on behalf of the EU, unlike the three prime ministers who went last month from Slovenia, Czech Republic, and Poland. Now, when she's saying there that she has a very clear message, the message is actually not very clear, because what she's saying is Ukraine is part of the European family. Well, that could mean anything. That could mean a kind of outer tier outside of the EU, but inside the free trade area, something, this kind of two-tier Europe that has been suggested by French President Emmanuel Macron, or it could mean full EU membership. It's not actually very clear, and the reason it can't be more clear is because EU countries are split on this subject. Not everybody thinks that Ukraine's place is in the European Union, ever. A lot of people think that perhaps expanding to Ukraine would be a step too far geographically and to a country too large. It's a lot of the same concerns that have been present for Turkey, and so that a better route would be a kind of outer tier where Ukraine is within the EU single market for some things, not for other things. There's lots of different opinions about this, and it will take years to work this out. She's pointing to one step in the process, and that is that the Commission is giving a kind of initial recommendation about whether talks can start to go toward accession talks. It is an extremely preliminary step. But of course, people want to show their solidarity to Ukraine, and there's lots of leaders in the EU that are desperately asking for this to be sped up. There's no prospect of it being sped up, but I think she wants to highlight that first step at least, because at least it is something, and they want to give people in Ukraine something to hope for the future, when they think when this is all over, that they could have a stable, peaceful European future in the EU, or as some other people have suggested, kind of adjacent to the EU, in it for some things, not in it for other things.